Hello everyone, Manga Kid here to do my first impressions of To Your Eternity by Yoshitoki Oima. I've read the first 2 volumes. I believe I own 10 of them digitally. I got them through a Humble Bundle that Kodansha was doing a few months ago. And I'm going to be honest. A silent voice is not my favorite thing. I actually don't like it. I've read it I think 3 times. I've watched the movie. I have given it so many chances. And I think it's an important story, but I don't think it's well written, and I don't like the characters. There's a couple characters I do like, but most of them I don't, and I just don't understand. I can't get over it. I really don't like the writing of it. And so when To Your Eternity came out and everybody was going nuts, going, yes, the silent voice mangaka has made another creation and I'm so excited to read it, I was not in that boat. So I went into this actually I try to go into manga with very low to no expectations, just generally of not reading much about it and just kind of going in without bringing other opinions into it. But I'm not going to lie, I went into this thinking I really did not like A Silent Voice. And I don't think I'm going to like this. So that's the energy I came into this with, and I know that I don't like to normally do that, but I just could not shake how much I dislike A Silent Voice from bringing a shadow onto this particular title as well. And now I've read 2 volumes of this, To Your Eternity. I'm intrigued. I own more of it digitally, so I will continue to read it. But again, this is not my favorite thing. I also don't really like supernatural sort of fantasy stuff, so that was another strike against this particular title, because I like to stick in the sort of slice of life, romantic comedy, horror, sort of I don't know. Fantasy is not my thing, and this is very fantastical. So, there's that element as well, that I was coming into this thinking I don't know how much I'm going to actually enjoy this. But anyway, all of that to say, if you like this, that's great for you. And I don't mean to tear this title apart, and that's not what I'm here to do. I just want to give you my honest opinion based on my own likes and dislikes, and this is not a title that's up my alley. But I will go into, the things that I did enjoy and the things that I did not about these first 2 volumes. But I will try to remain spoiler-free so that if you've not read it, I won't ruin it for you. But we basically follow this being that starts out as kind of this ball of light, and this being can take the shape of other things. And so it could be like a plant, or it could be a wolf dog thing, which is kind of the first real full being that it inhabits or turns into. And then we find out that this being can also take the form of humans as well. Now it seems that the being can only take over things that are dying or dead, take those shapes. And so it is setting this up to be a very sad sort of story. But basically in these first 2 volumes in particular, we're watching this being turn into various life forms, take on the physical form of these different life forms that it comes in contact with. And within these first 2 volumes, we've seen quite a bit of death. And we're watching this being sort of become more I don't want to say human, but more of a living thing rather than just a sort of orb of light that can turn into other things, right? Because, when you become a human or take on the form of a human, you have to eat. You presumably need to communicate somehow. And so we're watching speech start to take place. We're watching, human characteristics and various mannerisms starting to happen with this being. And it's just kind of interesting in this moment. I don't know where this story is going to go. I believe there's like 14 volumes or something out currently, so there's obviously a lot more story to go. I only own 10 of them, I think. But I wanted to do this first impressions, having only read the first 2 volumes, because I know that this is something that everybody goes, oh, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it when they get a new volume. And so I didn't want to read so far into it that I would end up trying to talk around all of the main points. And I figured, honestly, I'll just talk about the first 2 volumes because enough happens there, but it's also easy to not spoil when talking about it. So, yeah, from what I can tell, we'll kind of jump between like kind of arcs of the story of this being has taken on a new life form, and then it goes and it meets another character, and then we watch that sort of relationship play out, and then presumably somebody or something will die, and our this being will take on that being that has died. That's my impression. I don't know if that will continue to be the way this story goes throughout it, but the being also can switch between the things that it is transformed into. So like it's a wolf and then it becomes a boy, but it can switch between the wolf and the boy. It doesn't have to keep the shell that it is inhabited and keep that until it gets a new shell, sort of thing. Like it will inhabit whatever, and then it has the power to switch between all of the beings that it has inhabited. And yeah, it's all kind of mysterious of like, what is this being? What is the purpose of the being? I just don't know at this point where this story is going. I guess that's the point, is you're supposed to be kind of confused. And I think that this story is meant to pull you in with the characters that you meet, and you fall in love with them only to be disappointed when they die. But then we see that they get a new life sort of out of this being, because the being will take over that. So for example, the wolf dog thing, we see the love that this person, this boy, has for this dog. And we know that this main being has become this dog and gives a new sort of life or a continued life to the dog and the boy. So you can assume that in the future lives that this being inhabits, it will give some maybe closure or continued life to the lives of the people who were cut short for various reasons. And maybe that's a key point. I don't know. That's just my impression from these first 2 volumes, is that these animals and people and whoever that die too soon or under tragic circumstances, this being will give them a new chance at life by allowing their kind of body and personalities to live a little bit longer through him. I use him, even though this being is fairly genderless, but anyway. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and I don't hate it. It's just not really my thing. And if it continues very, I'm just interested to see where it goes. I think if it continues on this pattern, and it doesn't stray from that pattern, and it doesn't actually get a bit deeper and go into a larger overarching story, then we'll have a problem, because I'm just not signing up for like tragedy porn, I guess, of like, let's meet these characters, they're really cute and sweet and they're dead. Okay, great. Now let's meet new characters, they're cute and sweet and they're dead. Like, I'm just not interested in that sort of pattern. But at the end of volume 2, something happens. We meet a new thing that sort of hints at an overarching issue or problem or story or something. So I'm interested to see where that goes. But yeah, I mean, again, I came into this with negative energy, and a very, very low expectation of whether or not I would like this. And I don't dislike it. Now, I will say the art is fantastic. I do like Yoshitoki Oyama's art, and I think that it is vastly improved. There's a nice first page. There's a little orb thing. The art has vastly improved from A Silent Voice, but it's certainly like you can look at this and go, okay, yeah, no, that's the mangaka of A Silent Voice. The character designs are very distinct. But yeah, there's a lot of like nature scenes and stuff as well. It's just really well done, and I think that will carry this for me, at least until I get really hooked on it, is that I really enjoy looking at the art. But yeah, it's interesting. It's not normally my thing, and honestly, I would not buy this physically, just personally. It was never something I was interested in. It was something I was intrigued by, because I did say, when I read A Silent Voice a few times over, I was like, the bones of it are not bad. There's so much potential here I just didn't think it lived up to. And I was saying that, Yoshitoki Oima is going to be a really amazing creator, or is an amazing creator, but they just need some time. And so I was like, maybe it won't be their next series, but a few series down the line, they might come up with something that I'm going to love. But they need time to grow as a creator and really flesh out their abilities as a storyteller. And so I don't know that To Your Eternity is going to be the thing that sways me to like Yoshitoki Oima's work, but potentially a future series might. But I'm willing to give this a try, especially since I own now 10 volumes of it digitally. I will read all 10 of them and make a decision from there whether or not I'm interested in reading more of this story. But yeah, I know that Yoshitoki Oima is a beloved creator. People really love A Silent Voice, and people are really enjoying To Your Eternity. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't love these works or anything. Just for me personally, there are things I can't get past that are hindering my enjoyment of them. But yeah, I think that this one has a bit more potential for me. So I guess we'll see where it goes. I've started to do in-depth series discussion videos where I go full into spoilers and the story and everything. I've been hesitant to give my full thoughts and feelings on A Silent Voice because I do have a lot of issues with it. But, and I don't know, I have legitimate criticisms of it that I would be willing to speak about if people wanted to hear that. But if that's something people aren't interested in, then that's fine. But if you would like me to make an in-depth discussion video about A Silent Voice and the things about it that I liked and the things that I disliked, I would be happy to do that if people wanted me to. Which would mean I'd have to read it again, which I would not be looking forward to, but I would do it to make a video like that if people wanted to hear my thoughts on it. So let me know about that. But anyway, To Your Eternity, interesting enough for this first couple volumes. I will continue to read what I have of it. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts or feelings about it, I would like to hear your thoughts and feelings and opinions about To Your Eternity in the comments below. No spoilers, please. As this is a first impressions video, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who may be wanting to check out the series. But yeah, thanks for watching.